Bienvenidos, damas y caballeros, a TFG Radio. Yo soy Adán y mi compadre, Daniel. Because I don't know how to say Daniel in Spanish.
Daniel.
Welcome, everybody, to TFG Radio.
Mucho
Once
gusto.
again, our Spanish edition. And our super Roman, probably the two least Roman Catholic people edition, considering that a new pope was elected today on the day of this recording.
We have Chicago Pope people. And as a lifelong Chicago Bears fan, all I can really say is if we don't win a Super Bowl soon, then clearly God does not love us.
You have his whole lifetime to win.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
He's only 69. You got at least, 20 years maybe to win?
Well, who knows? I'm just saying, Chicago got a pope before we ever got a 4,000-yard passer. So,
there you go.
Feels bad, man. Feels bad.
Well, hopefully, no, you didn't turn off the YouTube video or podcast with that intro and with that intro music, because it will be since it's the Spanish edition, it's the Spanish edition and intro music this episode. There's a lot to talk about. A couple of announcements, more than a couple actually. A big announcement for me personally, and then a couple of announcements for upcoming events for frontline events. Geez, where to start? We'll just start with my personal one of them.
Yeah, that's what you want to talk about anyway.
Well, the first one I want to talk about is we did have Battle for LA in Cyprus. Thankfully, Mason over at Squad Marks provided his play space to play. We had 37 players to start the weekend, and then we ended up with a true undefeated Matthew Geyer. And the prize was a high roller package and 40K ticket to LVO in October, as
nice.
well as the best overall getting LVO high roller package, and the best painted got the FLG carrying case and essentially a paint set of his choice. He hasn't told me which paint set he wants. Most likely Monument Hobbies, because that seems to be a popular one right now.
Yeah.
That one, an Army Painter, because they're kind of...
Yeah. Army Painters are real good. Real good.
So that it went fairly smoothly. We had a little hiccup in regards to describing intent. Someone told his opponent his intent, but didn't articulate it well enough to prevent what he wanted, what he thought he didn't want to. Well, basically he said X when he meant X and Y.
Ooh.
So his opponent did Y, and he didn't realize. He thought he had declared his intent to prevent that, but I told him that's not. First off, you can't play by intent for something that's impossible to do, that you can't do.
Right. You can't use intent to break the game.
Right. And he wasn't really trying to do that. What he was trying to do was make sure something wouldn't happen.
Right.
But he meant to include this secondary thing, but he didn't articulate that. So his opponent was able to do it, and that's how I had to explain to him, well, if that's what you wanted, you need to explain that whole thing, because then you can both work out how to basically make that happen. If your opponent is being a good sport about it.
Right.
Which you should. I mean, if they're telling you, here's what I'm trying to do, and you just help them out. You don't need to be a dick to, win. And that was early on, and the guy apologized to me afterwards because he felt he was too, I guess, aggressive at me, but I didn't feel that at all. So I was like, it's fine, dude. It's whatever. I'm pretty laid back when it comes to the events I run, because they're so much smaller.
Right.
Compared to the other events we help run. So that went fairly smoothly. It was Chaos Demons that won the event. That was undefeated.
Nice. Which one?
It's a lot of fun. It's always fun being there.
Was it
And
Shadow
Mason's
Legion?
Always good. Mason's always good helping out. We're having Hammer Rat there, although we're going to try to get 60 people. It's a 10-year anniversary, so we're doing a little extra. We can give some stuff away with everybody's tickets. So,
what kind of demons was Matt running?
Why you
Shadow Legion?
Questions?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Shadow Legion.
Nice.
You make me look.
Yes, I am.
Oh my god. It had demons in it. Does that
Okay,
count?
fair enough. Yeah, close enough.
Let me, while you hear me madly clicking away.
Oh, don't worry about it. It makes great audio. All right,
I'm sure.
moving on.
I'm sure. Well, video too, because you're not seeing our faces right now.
Yeah.
I figured we can be samey since it's just us two.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, my internet sucks, so...
That's all right.
You can't handle the video.
All right, so let's see. Let's look at his list. Let's look at his winning list. It was Demonic Incursion.
Oh, okay.
Be'lakor, Unclean One, Kairos, Rodigus, Nurglings, Plague Bearers, Beasts, Flamers, Soul Grinder.
Oh, interesting.
Matt's a good player with whatever he plays with, so
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me.
That's a pretty big stat checklist, so with also some shenanigans, so that
I
makes
think
sense.
with a smaller event, you're not going to see too many, like, skew lists. Well, you actually might see more, actually, because it's a more local meta.
Right.
And the skew list can, handle some things, but there's certain things they can't. Or he could just made all his 4-up saves.
Yeah.
There's always that. So, congratulations to Matthew. We've also gotten a few things like we got the new Space Wolves. We got new Logan Grimnar. He lost his sled.
Right. I know. Where's my sled?
No, it's fine. It's fine. He's fine without the sled. It's much better without the sled. Oh my god! Thank God he doesn't have the sled. So the models actually look pretty sick. You know what? Every release they do, I'm like, oh man, I should build an army like that. I should build that army. Usually Space Marines,
Right.
so they're easier to paint. But then I'm like, nah, it's okay. And then they also put up on pre-order the Death Guard and World Eaters.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked a little bit about it already, so it's actually on pre-order, which brings up an important message. So if you're going to BAO at the end of the month, I shouldn't say both, Death Guard, World Eaters, and Emperor's Children will all be eligible to play. So, get those lists ready. I'm pretty sure I'll get lots of questions before that comes up. I believe, if they haven't already, by the time you hear this, I believe Frontline will put in an announcement about it, but I'm also announcing it here, and I'll make the announcement on the Frontline community page, just to let people know, so they can start making those lists and checking them twice, since we're going with that theme. GW also showed us, GW also paused orders for the last couple weeks.
No, really?
That they only had those 1 week they didn't have. There was like books or something on those.
Right.
So they did a week. It was the week after. It was this past Sunday. Was it this past Sunday or last Sunday, where they announced that it was only like, it was just like books or something. It wasn't even like anything substantial, or maybe it was nothing I cared about. That could have been it also.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I'm looking right now and I don't see anything. They also announced the new knight. They showed off the new knight with 2 new guns and a void shield generator that apparently can cover other units, not just itself. So it's basically, if anyone remembers the void shield generator fortification, especially in 7th edition.
Oh, those were the days.
This is a walking void shield generator, but I don't know how good it's going to be. So,
I mean, well, with knights, it's just such a hard balance, because if you make it too good, like a flat out 4++ against shooting or something, then it's an auto take and gets included in a lot of Imperial lists.
right.
Right. And then maybe it's too good, but if it's like a 6++ or something, like, who cares?
Well, it also depends how big is the void shield aura.
Right.
And do the units have to be wholly within or just within?
Just within.
That's a big.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because that's what made the original Void Shield Incendiary so good. It had a large aura, and you just had to be within. So that's why everybody took it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They tease the Imperial Knights Codex, but they don't tell us when it's going to come out. We know it's next, or what's after, because we talked to John about it. It's after the Space Wolves Thousand Suns release. We know that much.
So again, maybe early June at the earliest, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. In terms of street date, because we still have to wait for Space Wolves Thousand Suns. That probably won't be maybe this coming week, maybe.
Right.
Which means street like end of May, early June, and then Knights would probably be around the time that the new mission pack and tournament compendium comes out. Companion.
Right.
Because that's coming up probably next month. In previous editions or in previous years, it's been right after ACO. So we'll see if that's true. Then it'll probably be towards the end of June when we get that. So that's also coming up for those that are going or want to go. So it should be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's my Alexa. Yeah, so that's coming out. Whoops.
I mean, the new Space Wolves do look cool. I know John was interested in them.
Yeah, but John's with the Knights coming out. John may not want to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just one new Knight, and 3D printer go burr.
Yeah, I guess.
Since it's just upgrades, and of course now there's 2 kits, which they mentioned like, oh hey, the Knight kit's now been separated into 2 new ones, and I'm sure there's going to be a nice price increase on both for being new boxes.
Yeah. Trying to see what else. It doesn't look like there's anything else. I think there's a bunch of books and other stuff and merchandise and all that other. Oh yeah. So just today, on the day of recording, they announced the new edition of Horus Hearsay.
Oops.
Which there were rumors of, because I think it's been 3 years. I can't recall. Since GW likes this 3-year cycle for their games.
Yeah.
At least for their main games.
Right.
So, New Horus Heresy. This last edition was 7.5, essentially. I don't know what the plan is. I don't think they know. I mean, I don't know if they're going to keep with 7.5 and just clean it up a bit.
Yeah.
Or total revamp.
They seem to like, and the players seem to like that it's 7.5. So I don't know what they're really going to do. Since
going by past Games Workshop history, they don't care if the players like it or not.
Yeah, it's true.
They're going to change it whether the players want to or not. But hopefully they just clean it up and not do like a full like. It's funny if they do like a whole new edition because then there's the 40K 8th edition and then there's the Horus Heresy 8th edition, which is still like with the skeleton still being like the 3 through 7th edition core
engine. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be hilarious. But we'll see. People, I mean, to be honest, I don't know anybody. I know 2 people that collect, but I haven't seen them playing it in a while. So I know there's communities out there, but just not in our area. So yeah. So I don't know what to make of a new Heresy. I'm curious to see what the box will be. I'm pretty sure it'll be a new mark of armor, or some new vehicle or something, and maybe some new robots. Who knows? Um, but I think that's all the big news from GW. Frontline Gaming has different news that we'll talk about. I just mentioned BAO. Danny, you'll be there with me, correct?
Oh, yeah. Sure will.
All right. Danny will be there. Keith will be there. The three of us. I think the number's at 182 or 187, something like that.
Nice and intimate. Look at that.
Well, hopefully we have more room because last year was a little cramped. So they have a lot more game systems playing this year. Last year we only had Old World. This year we have Old World again, but a couple other ones. If you haven't already, there's the Frontline Events website. You just go to events.frontlinegaming.org, and it gives you their full season as well for all the events past for this year and present. So BAO's coming up. Trying to see what games they have. It comes up in 15 days. There's even a countdown timer. Look at that. So they have Warhammer, Blood Bowl, Old World, and Sigmar. So that's what they have. So not too bad. If you go to that events website, like I said, they have all the different events. They actually have the info for finally the code of conduct, the chess clock rules, and the hobby guidelines for the FLG events. So you can find all that there. Let me see. So, that's VAO. I think you're with me on that one. Excuse me. After BAO is Atlantic City with the combination of ACO and Champs Cup. Still tickets available for both the teams and for the singles. I think it's about an even number on each side, so it's kind of weird, but whatever. It is for if you're playing the singles, it's normal FLG format that you're used to. I should have the missions. I'll be working on that this weekend, and the player package hopefully will be out by next week at the latest. But I'll be working on that this weekend. So, same with the team side of it. For singles, it's 7 games. We're actually, because it's over 3 days, it's probably going to be 3-2-2. So Saturday, Sunday, it's a little easier. Probably maybe a bit more time to play. For the teams, it's going to be 6 games, 2 on each day. They'll follow the WTC format, which includes their 2-inch wall engagement thingy. Their 12 pages of examples. So we'll be using their FAQ, mainly their rules interpretations, things like that. In addition to the FLG one, so it's good practice, or just a good way to experience the WTC format if you can't go. Speaking of which, Team USA just announced their lineup for WTC. So a lot of familiar names, a couple of names that you haven't heard from in a while, and then a couple of new faces. So
that's a good mix then.
Yeah, I like the rotation of people getting to go. So
right, yeah,
it's a big commitment though. It's like almost 2 weeks of. If you play all the games that they offer, it's like 2 weeks of gaming. Because they have a bunch of events that take place before the quote unquote the main event of the 8-man team. So then after that is LSO, and that's in Dallas or Allen, Texas, about an hour from Dallas. That's in August 9th and 10th. I will be there, obviously, but that's the military appreciation event. Usually, and that's where we do the branches compete against each other to see who does the best. Last year, I believe it was Air Force that won. So we'll see who takes it this year. And the big one after that is the new date for Las Vegas Open. So we're double dipping this year. The pre-registration has already gone out. At the time of this recording, general population gets the ticket releases on the 15th of May. So make sure you sign up for the events there. There's a lot of events, and they're still adding events as we go along. So It should be nice. It's at the World Market Convention Center, which is the smaller of the two. It's not that the Las Vegas Convention Center is the bigger one.
Right.
Seems to be plenty of space. The Golden Nugget is the official hotel of the event. So that's if you're looking for the FLG discount for a place to stay, that's where it's going to be at. So that should be exciting. Once the tickets go live and you're able to see what events there are, then we'll discuss that more. So
yeah, it'll be. I mean, I'm sure everyone is curious to see what, you know. I mean, LVO traditionally gets real full real fast, so it'll be interesting to see how that holds true with 2 in 1 year and then the change in venue.
Yeah, traditionally it does. So we'll see. I expect a dip. How big of a dip? I don't know. I mean, I don't expect the same amount of 40K players, but I think in terms of the influx of other games will even it out, so it comes out to about the same amount of people attending in total. Right. It'll just be the 40K side will be a little less, while the other game systems and because we're actually bringing card games in.
Right.
If you've seen any of the interviews with Jake when he talks about this, he mentioned with game systems, we'll be having events at LVO. So we're in a transition of going from a tournament to a con, kind of like what Adepticon did. If anyone's familiar with Adepticon, they started out as a 40K tournament, and then over the years they transitioned into becoming more of a convention with other offerings in addition to the various 40K events. So,
right.
I mean, I'm trying to contact people to put on demos, and then I know Jake has to work out some stuff to see where to put them. If we do them, I think I might be doing demos the Thursday night of LVO, and maybe even Friday evening. I don't know yet. Depends what demos I'm going to do. Just to get some interest, because it'd be more like not really demos, but almost like participation games. So you don't pay, you pay for the badge to get in, and you get to do these participation games for free. And it's just to give people a taste of, like, especially if they've never played a miniature game or board game or whatever before. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's coming out for the rest of the year. Beyond that, I don't know, because what that leaves, if in case you haven't noticed, there's no SoCal this year. Mm-hmm. We don't know if there's anything in January, to be honest. And beyond LVO, if you look on the calendar, it just says, one says January and the other says date to be determined. Those, I think, are just placeholders for now, because once we get closer to LVO and get all that figured out, we may be able to start looking beyond. Because, I mean, we're still going to have Cherokee, we're still going to have Rocky Mountain, we just don't have the dates yet. So
right.
So we'll see what happens. One thing I wanted to talk about, though, to kind of go off on a tangent, other than the new Pope, I know you're excited to talk about that, Danny.
Oh, clearly.
With the two least religious people on the podcast.
Yep.
So in case you guys haven't noticed, John and Tom are not here. I'm assuming they're not here because they're too busy celebrating the new Pope.
Right, yeah. It's time of revelry.
Yeah. So it's just us. But recently, one of our local stores announced that they were raising their prices on how much it is to play at their store. This particular store always charged. It's not something that wasn't something new. It's just the fact that they raised the prices by about 25%. Well, technically 50%. Right, per person. And they had some offerings for like a package deals. And then I know there's another store further south from us, and I think or like the San Diego area, that they started charging people to use their tables to play games. And I'm wondering if that's just a trend for our area, because this is not something. And I think one of our local store, I think the other store in Pasadena, I think they've been charging for a while now. I'm not 100% sure. Because I don't go there.
The times I've been, I haven't paid for the table.
You haven't yet? So there's not charging yet, as far as we know. But I'm curious your thoughts, Danny, because it's not like an isolated event. Apparently, it's happening to a couple stores here in the area. And is that just like the price of doing business now, or? I mean, even at Squad Marks, they charge if you're not a member.
Right. I think it's the reality of a lot of game stores are not doing super well. I think it's just there's the economic realities of like a lot of people aren't making as much as they used to. I think that's just a reality most people can agree happens. You've got the tariffs now that are raising prices on a lot of games. And just, rent is getting really high in especially in SoCal, right? Like just the rent of space is insane. And so, you get less people buying. You got product getting more expensive. You've got to find a way to generate income. And so having people pay to use your tables is kind of that untapped revenue stream. Because, it's what was the complaint at Game Empire, right? Way back in the day, Chuck would always get mad about the Magic players because, they come in and take up half the damn space and they buy just like a soda and maybe buy a couple packs most of the day. So it's like, cool, you're taking up all of the space, but you're not paying any money. I know at a local pub I frequent that there's been a long debate because they only have one pool table and there's a lot of people who play league pool there. But when it's league night, the guys come in, they buy like a drink, and they take over the pool table for 5 hours. And so they've been, having to negotiate basically a table fee with them.
Yeah.
So, because I just think, again, like, I think most people aren't spending money the way they used to right now over the past 6 months. Rent keeps getting more expensive. It's not getting less expensive in SoCal. And now product is getting more expensive, so I think game store owners in general are the margins have always been really thin. Like, you don't make money being a game store.
No,
right? Like
not a lot.
You're not like sitting there. It's not a way to get rich. You're not going to become a franchise and McDonald's out like, your shit. It just doesn't work that way.
There's been game stores that are franchises, like, what's the one up north? The Game
Castle?
Is it Game Castle? I think it's Game Castle. They have the blue. I know their color is blue. So there's Game Castle up north, but some of the areas they're in is like some of the cheaper areas to have a game store. So I think they're able to market it that way. Down here in Southern California, there's no. If it's a game store, it's usually like a big box like store. It's not really a game store. It's more just a store like Target or whatever that sells games. I don't think there's any other. Game Empire was technically a franchise.
Yeah, but it wasn't making any kind
but
of.
But I remember Chuck always saying that every Saturday was a make or break weekend.
Yeah.
So, So it's just weird that that this is just happening all at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know if it's just a response to the tariffs or a response to just in general, and they just all happen to be doing it at the same time. Like I said. At least with the ones that I'm talking about, they're offering like, pay X amount, you get X amount of games or days to play or games to play or whatever. But I think that's part of the struggle that stores have in regards to game. How much game space do you devote to a game? Because card games don't take up as much space as 40K or Flames of War or Conquest, and then there's other games like Gaslands, even BattleTech, that take up like that. They're like in between. Like they, instead of taking up a whole 6x4, or even Kill Team, they only take up like half the space.
Right.
You know, so do you charge them the same amount? Do you charge, somebody extra? Do you do like, hey, we're not going to charge you if you buy something substantial, like X amount of dollars, you get free free time or whatever. So it's and like you said, depending where you're at, the rent's super high. Our friend Dave, remember when he opened his game store? It was out in Colton, and it was only like $1 a square foot.
Right.
It wasn't even a game store; it was just a club at the time in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Mason's that's for Squad Marks. There's his club that happens to sell stuff, and it's inside of an office building. There's no storefront, but he has a low overhead because he doesn't sell as much product. His thing is selling the membership for the access to the game space, to the play space, basically. So it's just something I noticed that's been happening. I keep track of all this other stuff because I like watching YouTube and all this, all the trends going on. And part of that reason is because with my other announcement is that I bought in a very small amount to someone opening a game store in our area. So for those that remember, we did have a game store we went to called Gameology. We used to advertise with them a lot. They had to close for various reasons that if you find me outside of this podcast, like at an event, you can ask me and I'll tell you what happened. Because I was in Mexico at the time.
Yep.
I
was in Chicago.
With about, 2 days notice before they were shutting everything down? It was like a Saturday I found out. Because you had just come back.
No, I was
you were leaving.
I left. I was on
store.
a red eye. Yeah, because I was taking a red eye. So I went to the store and was told, hey, this is what's happening by Halloween.
Yeah,
and so
and
and then was instantly on group chats.
Yeah, it was like the Friday or Saturday before Halloween, and Halloween was like on a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, it was on Monday.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so.
So for the second time, we've had to clear out a store with short notice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So I'm taking the big step to help open a store, and I put some money in. So I am invested, not a large investment, but still invested. For anyone that knows me, I don't do anything like, if I'm going to do something, I do it. I try to do it as soon as possible. I want this, like for me, I need the store open like yesterday.
Right.
But I know how the wheels turn, so I'm very nervous and anxious right now. So after this episode, I'll probably put out status updates because I know, at least in my thoughts about the whole process, because it's a new thing for me, a new experience for me. It's something I think part of the reason why. First of all, I guess we'll go into why I wanted to do it. I know, Dan. I know I talked to you guys about it. If you guys wanted in, I know you guys have your own situations.
Yeah.
And for me, it just I knew somebody with money to like front me the money essentially, because I don't have that. I don't have that much of that money like laying around. I'm not a boomer.
Right. Same.
So the next best thing is I ask boomers to front me the money.
Right.
I literally had to show them the business plan. I had to do the business pitch.
Right.
And if you can't figure it out, these boomers were my parents.
Yep.
So, but they still made me do the pitch.
Right.
So I luckily, the person I'm in partnership with, he had the business plan, the numbers, the financials, the estimates, all that stuff done already. So I just had to print them out, show it to the investors, and then explain to them that my knowledge of the area, the game space, how the community works in general, because a gaming community does not work like a normal store. A perfect example is Squad Marks Club, their club, their HQ. They have no storefront, no retail space. It's literally an office in an office building.
Right.
One big office. And he's able to turn a profit within I think he said like within a year he was turning a profit, mainly off of the memberships.
Right.
When he sells stuff, but it's not a lot. It's very little. It's not a lot of stuff. He does have his like side gig of making the colored bases, if you're familiar with Squad Marks and the terrain. But even then, selling that and the game space, he's able to. He was able to quit his job. That doesn't mean I'm going to quit mine. I'm not quitting mine. So,
right.
But what's unique about a game store is that it's one of those things that can work without the normal requirements that a normal retail store needs. Because all you need is the word to get out, and people will find the place, which is what I saw with Squad Marks.
Right.
So, I know, Danny, I know you have some trepidation.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of just it's the things like rent, right? It's, we've got a pretty big gaming community in LA, but we do have a lot of stores already. And so
right.
There's just, the kind of factions and loyalties that kind of go along with that.
Right.
And it's really just about, it's about pounding the pavement and getting people there and into the membership. I mean, I would think a membership honestly at this point has a better model than retail, at least at this current moment. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be, retail's going to be more profitable, obviously, but membership is more consistent, and really it's about, I think this is something that a lot of game store owners don't ever understand in a real meaningful way, is that they live and die on the health of the community you foster, right? Like, people go there for their third space. People go there to be social and have friendships and make connections with people, and you've got to, if you can do that, like, you can again have consistent money, because you will have people who just are happy to give you $20-$30 a month, whatever it might be, to like have a place to hang out. And so their like location matters too, in the sense of, like, why did we love it so much besides it was our spaces? Man, like, there were 3 good restaurants and bars within a 2-minute walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could go out, we could play a game, we could go get a drink or go get something to eat during tournament days. You had a variety of choices of what you wanted to get for lunch. And to the point where we were doing that so often, people in these establishments recognized us. Right? And it was cool, and it was a really wonderful feeling. So if that can be replicated, that would be awesome, because I can tell you several years out now, I very much miss Gameology.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, it's like a very noticeable loss in my life of having a store I really like going to.
Yeah, and even John mentioned he gets mad every time he passes by.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's it hurt, and still does. So, I mean, again, if I was in the position to invest, I would. I mean, I'm a little trepidatious, but I would if I could. And unfortunately, because my mom lost her house in the Altadena fire, I don't have the boomers I know with money are not in a position to help me. So,
right.
Or wouldn't be interested in in such a thing, or can't. So, I want to be a part of it. I want to help, even if it's in whatever minor ways I can. I just hope something opens soon, so I have a place to play. Although I'm not going to be able to play this month anyway, so I had to drop from the league because I got screwed by work, and like I have a bunch of huge projects that are suddenly due within the next few weeks, so I'm gonna have like no free time.
Oh man, and I joined just because you were in the league.
I know. Again, I feel bad about it.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't played any games yet. I'll probably wait till like the last 2 weeks of the league.
Sounds about
Jeff
right.
will yell at me. Yeah. I mean, if I'm being honest, I am extremely anxious and nervous about it. Even though I'm not I'm putting money in. I'm just. It's because I want it to succeed. And I know it can because we're looking at that same area where Gamology was. Because it's a familiar area that people know already, and it's a high traffic area. But, I mean, in all honesty, I am a little nervous and anxious at the same time. I want to get it like. I want to get going now. I want to.
Right.
Like so obviously one of the first steps is we've already created the LLC. We just need to figure out a name. So if anybody has a name to offer, I'll open to suggestions. So once we come up with a name, we'll just do the DBA as the name that name of the store. And I think the big thing right now is the name, obviously, the logo. At least to me, I'll have to talk to so there's one main investor that's putting up a majority of the money, and that's who I talk to all the time. That's who approached me. That's how it happened. He approached me and said, "Hey, I'm doing this. I really want you. I want you in on it because I know you guys. Because we at one point, Danny, us four, had talked about not opening a store, but doing like a club. So finding an office space, even if it's going to hold like a table or two.
Right. Yeah.
And I talked to a couple of people, but they never got back, or they just kind of ghosted me. Just to find a space. So he had approached me, and I was like, yeah, but I'm not a boomer, so I have no money, but I know boomers, so I could probably get it. And so he told me what the minimum was, and I'll say, okay, well, I'll try to get that. So like I mentioned earlier, I had to do the presentation. I literally just did it like a couple days ago. So now we're at the point of like, right now, so looking for a space, looking for a place to put the store. And the places we look to, like you mentioned, Danny, are not cheap. But we know, having talked to like the former manager and assistant manager at Gamology, you can make it work.
Right.
We know that for sure. We know that for a fact. We know that because we know why it closed, and it wasn't because it wasn't making money. Again, if you want the full story, come find me at any of the FLG events, and I'll be happy to tell you what happened. But and that's why I am a bit. I know you're, like you said, you when we talked initially about it, because I approached you guys about it, if you guys wanted in, and you were a bit skeptical about the time, especially the timing with the tariffs.
Yeah.
But hopefully by the time the store does open, that will be taken care of. Apparently it's already been taken care of with the UK, but that's not the really one we really need to worry about unless we're only selling GW.
Yeah, no, that's not the one you need to. I mean, that obviously affects GW products, but like,
that affects 40K. A lot of the miniature companies like Games Workshop, Warlord Games, the ones based in the UK. But the big one, because we would most likely sell board games also, is China, because of the board games and the components that are made in China.
Right.
But again, I'll have to talk to the investor, the main guy, and see how much do we really want to invest in board games. Do we want to heavily invest it, or do you want to just like top 20, 40, 50 only? Maybe whatever new releases, things like that. Same with the miniatures, GW for sure, but then maybe a smattering of something else. There's a lot of things to consider, and I personally don't like talking over the internet. I mean, texting over the internet. I don't like texting for stuff like this. like heavy paragraph, like thesis statement stuff,
Right.
or I'm gonna be typing a lot. I'm like, I'll just call you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very old fashioned that way. Or like tomorrow, at the time of this recording on Thursday, we're gonna meet, so I have a chance to talk to him. I don't know how much time he has, but
Right.
I have a chance to meet and talk and maybe look at some of the other spaces we were thinking of. So, but I think what I'm gonna do is kind of chronicle what goes on in terms of my. Well, I'll have to get permission to make sure I can talk about it.
Right.
Like, but not be too specific. Like, I haven't named the person that I'm with. Just know that this is me. I'll just say it's me. I'm the big money man. Just don't tell my wife. I did have that talk with my wife. Because it is a large time sink, and I'm already doing a number of other stuff that are also a large time sink.
Right.
So I have to make sure I thank my wife for allowing me to do this, because if she had told me no, I probably wouldn't have done it. I'd help out. I would help out because that's just how I am, and I like the guy.
Yeah.
But I think given this opportunity to be a part of something, especially something I enjoy, I think for me anyway, it's just one of the things I don't think I can pass up on it. By hook or by crook, I was probably going to get the money.
Yeah.
To invest. Although I shouldn't say by hook or by crook. But just a figure of speech. But yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'll get permission from my partner, and then I'll probably chronicle this because I think it'd be interesting for people to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
At least, especially someone of like a first time store owner, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And see what I think about the whole process, because I know some people are more business savvy about stuff. I know I'm not. I'm very how would I describe myself? I'm very down to earth, I guess. In that, I'm very TLDR. If things or people get too wordy, I start to check out. So, which is funny because I do like to. I can be very verbose at times, like using big words like verbose. So expect an update most likely over the weekend or on Monday. Once I go tomorrow, Friday, May 9th, to go look at a place and discuss more stuff with my partner. Hopefully we have a name. Jesus, that's the hardest part. Just like when you're trying to figure out a username.
Yeah. And
for whatever program you signed up for, it's like that same issue.
Hey, I gave you a gold name. You just don't want to use it.
It's too obvious.
Really?
We'll see. You never know. Well, I had my planned, but nobody wants to do it. If you want my plan, contact me off at the event, because I don't want it on record.
That's how you know it's a good one.
I floated the plan to the owners of Gameology, but they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I get nervous. I already know Danny, you, and John, and Tom will help as much as you can, because I know you want it to succeed, because it gives you guys a place to play.
Yep.
And because you know me, you get extra benefits.
Well,
You'd be literally friends with benefits.
Thought we already were. Jesus.
That's a different.
Lied to me for so long.
But I think we'll end it here. Kind of a short, somewhat of a short one, with only the two of us.
Yeah.
And John not here to gush over Space Wolves and Imperial Knights, so he missed out. We'll have another episode a couple weeks, probably right before either right before or right after BAO. I haven't just. We'll see how we feel. We may just wait till after. But I'll once again put out a stuff to remember for BAO. I'll put out I'll have to talk to my partner to see if he's okay with me doing this. Kind of a chronicling basically like a diary of my experience trying to get a business going. The ups and downs, because I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of that. I'm pretty sure I'll be I'm pretty sure I'll be stressed out, because that's what I signed up for. Apparently, I like being stressed out.
Apparently so.
Oh well, Danny, any last thoughts for tonight?
Play games, be nice to each other, like always, and don't nuke your game store, please.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. And remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff, whether it's on a podcast, on your podcast player, or YouTube itself. Always appreciate it. Look out for more content from me and from us as we move forward, especially with the store going up. And hopefully I'll see everybody at BAO if we don't have a show before that. So good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Laters.